the photo that uploaded itself. The photo appeared in our shared album at 0034, like a confession with good timing. It wasn't one of mine. Not my framing, not my hands, though they were my hands in the shot, my watch, my wrist scar. I was in a hotel room I didn't recognize, standing in front of a mirror with a woman whose face was turned just enough to imply intimacy and preserve deniability. A glass of white sat on the dresser. A key card leaned against a lamp as if it had earned the right. The caption underneath, auto-generated by the cloud. Last night near Riverton. I was home at 0034. I was in bed. I remembered the way Lena had rolled toward me and found the hinge under my collarbone like she always does when she's half asleep, and the city hasn't yet asked for anything unreasonable. I remembered checking the door. I remembered nothing about Riverton. I stared at the photo until the edges began to feel like decisions. Then I noticed the thing that made it not just wrong but ambitious. Our album badge beside it. Whoever had sent the shot into my cloud had shared it into the one space, Lena, and I deliberately keep uncurated, the place where we drop proof that we were in the same moment without needing to say so. Lena padded out of the dark in my t-shirt, hair messy with opinions. She didn't ask. She looked at the screen, at my face, at the kitchen clock. She pressed her thumb to the hinge. "You were here," she said. "I was," I said, and hated that my voice wanted to do theater. She raised one eyebrow, amused in that way that's dangerous for anyone who isn't us. And yet, I set the phone flat like that would make the photo less vertical. "Say it," she said, already choosing law over panic. "Honeysuckle," I said, and the embarrassment of it settled the air. That stupid password, ridiculous hours, has saved us more times than my job ever has. I'm a crisis locksmith, contracts, access, reputations, trying to teach doors to behave. Lena runs a transparency lab inside a newsroom with a spine. She FOIAs the places that think acronyms guard them like walls. Between us, we've learned that if something is timed for midnight, it wants you to perform. The trick is not to. "Look again," she said. I zoomed. The EXIF metadata claimed the shot had been taken with my phone at 2358, ISO 640, 160 sec, flash disabled, GPS coordinates mapped to the Grail Hotel, 25 floors above a river with opinions and a bar that believes in testimony. The EXIF also claimed software version 17.4, when mine was still lazily on 16. It was ballroom-level careful and street-level sloppy. "The watch," Lena said, "face is different." I glanced at my wrist. My watch takes its faces personally. I'd been on the austere analog for 3 weeks. In the photo, a minimalist digital showed 11:59 as if daring me to fault its punctuality. "Skin tones a hair warm," I said. "Noise patterns too clean for this light. It's a composite." "Or your phone went to Riverton without you," she said, dry. I pictured the chain of custody for my life. My phone had been in my pocket at home, useful mostly for alarms and bad tweets. SIM swaps leave trails. Cloud hijacks leave invoices. Someone was trying to write a story with my artifacts. "Who benefits?" Lena asked, already opening her laptop, already pulling a map from the part of her brain that catalogs power. "The Grail's hosting the Harbor South Vote Caucus tonight," I said. "Half the council will be drinking there by 9. Raines's people will want a shadow ready to fall on anybody who decides wrong." Victor Raines, developer donor, the city's recurring antagonist with a talent for making mirrors into memos. He'd lost a fight to us 2 months ago on a clinic escrow, and I had watched his smile learn to be patient. My phone buzzed, unknown number. Pretty shot, nice vein on your wrist. L. L. My chest remembered a decade I don't wear in public. Lark, I said. The one who used to ghost governments for a living? Lena asked, not jealous, just locating the noun. The one who taught me how to read door badges from across the room, I said. Last I heard she was freelancing for Victor's cultural arm. I texted back, wrong album, wrong night. 3 dots. Then, right idea though. Grail 2507, bring the key. Lena smirked. She thinks you still carry keys. I do, I said. We dressed like civility. The Grail's lobby smelled like wood warmed by apologies. A concierge smiled with professional discretion. Up in 2507, the carpet forgave. The key card Lark had texted, a photo of a staff fob with a taped serial, got us past the maintenance, light into a room staged by someone who believes life is a mood board. Neutral sofas, a mirror angled to flat her decisions, a window that pretended the city wanted to be admired. Lark sat on the arm of the couch like it belonged to her, wearing black with a blue silk scarf that said she had recently asked someone to change their mind and succeeded. You always were good at reading, she said, eyes doing their inventory, mouth not far behind. Hello, Lena. Your piece on police overtime made me furious at breakfast. That's the point, Lena said, not reaching for her hand. You sent a fake, I said. I sent a test, Lark said, because I need you to trust me faster than you want to. I hate being asked for speed. It makes me petty. But the woman in the photo had the posture of someone I'd been paid to protect once, and the watch face had my vanity in it, and the room had been dressed with my old habits. If Lark wanted obedience, she'd have sent a car. She wanted an argument. You're working for Rains, I said. Sometimes, she said. He's a man who pays on time and hates being bored. Tonight there are 2 rooms at the Grail that matter. In one, 3 votes can get bought with community art space and a handshake. In the other, someone plans to drop a packet of evidence like that photo into 2 inboxes to cauterize consciences. I can jam one. You need to jam the other. And you led with sabotage, Lena said, to see whether we'd burn down our bedroom or go to work. I led with sabotage because your enemies will, Lark said, to her credit, not pretending otherwise. You trust each other. Good. Use it. Here. She tapped the dresser where the hotel notepad lay open to a room number and a hand-drawn BSS ID. GR Lambdale Wellness 5G. Room 2109. House, Wellness Suite. The BSS ID is spoofed. Connect to the captive portal and it clones your Apple ID long enough to plant a photo in your cloud album. It only works on phones on 16 through 17.3, because after that somebody patched the hole. And that's how my photo got there, I said. Someone used your wrist in an old shot and your watch in a new one and our hotel's very flattering lamps, Lark said. They're going to send the same kind of shot into Councilman Pierce's family album at 21:55. He votes at 22:30. He's been pretending to be brave. He needs a reason to falter. Who's in the other room? Lena asked. Rains, the chair. A Cultural Foundation CFO who will pretend to be surprised, Lark said. Their hashword is verdigris. You'll hear it if you listen at the wrong door. I don't like being a piece in a game I didn't choose. I like less the version where Lark is the one holding the board. But she had the exploit, we had the hinge, and the vote couldn't afford the kind of messy I'm good at when I'm angry. Say it, Lena whispered near my ear as we stepped back into the corridor. Honeysuckle, I said, and it didn't feel stupid. It felt tactical. The wellness suite had a door plant you could tell had been watered by someone with a tag. I pretended to talk to Lena while I bent to tie a lace. The hallway camera watched us not try. My phone saw the SSID before my eyes did. GR Lambdil Wellness 5G. Familiar portal splash. The agree box fat and friendly. A continue with Apple button that is a honeycomb if you squint. I ran the portal in a sandbox on my phone because I'm a nerd who keeps his sins on a leash. The captive page asked for the usual. Behind it, a script waited to request token access to photos. Slip in. Drop one asset. Slip out. It would work on 90% of council staffers and 70% of donors. It would work on me if I hadn't loved a woman who hates being condescended to. We need the AP, Lena said. We need the AP, I echoed, and slid a prying tool under the baseboard. Hotels hate it when you do this. They hate it more when you call the reporters afterward. The access point sat behind a decorative grill, smug little Crown logo blinking. Crown. I had seen that laughing LED in a fire panel 3 weeks earlier when we made an alarm stop pretending it was an accident. I popped the unit. There, microSD. I pulled it, handed it to Lena. She labeled it with a piece of surgical tape she keeps in her wallet for other emergencies. She has always been more prepared than me. It's why I get to be brave. Voices. We slid out as 3 men drifted toward us, 2 in hospitality black, 1 in the furnished arrogance of a man who makes decisions in other people's rooms. Not Rains. The CFO, by the smell of a waiter's attention on him. He said, verdigris, into the hallway as if he were checking to see whether his own mouth could do secrecy. Lena smiled at me, small and sharp, and we went hunting the other room where votes get softened like butter. Outside 2003, a side door was propped with a housekeeping cart. Lark had a tell, a folded corner on the notepad in the bathroom when she wants me to see where she's been. I looked anyway. Folded. She'd been here. We vanished into the small rectangle behind the service panel where you can hear everything and see nothing if you breathe like air and tape like ghosts. Clinic escrow is generous, the chair said. Generous is expensive, another voice reigns, bored by nouns he hadn't invented. We buy legitimacy with a room and a ribbon. We let them put a plaque wherever they'd like. And if Pierce recommits, the CFO. He will, Rains said. A family album can tolerate only so much brave. Lena pressed her palm to my chest. I could feel the hinge could feel the decision. Time, she mouthed. We left the way we'd come. Down the hall, past men who use the word journey like it's not other people's work. Into the elevator. Into the lobby that forgives. Out to the sidewalk full of people who could live elsewhere and don't. Pierce first, she said, then the hotel. She called Sparrow, who delights in stabbing machines with paperwork. I texted Pierce's aide, who didn't sign his name because he's learned to be a person in rooms without cameras. I wrote, don't connect to the Grail's Wi-Fi. Call me in the stairwell. He, why, me? Because you don't want your wife to see a photo of you you didn't take. Lena sprinted to the front desk and asked for the manager like she meant it. She has a specific tone for, you are going to want to stop me from doing the thing I am about to do. It is warm and terrible. It makes men in suits turn into men in service. She explained the captive portal. She tapped the crown, led on the AP I had handed down to her like a fromager presenting a rare cheese. She said breach and injunction and class. Pierce called from a stairwell with bad reception and a good conscience. Is it real? He asked. It will look like it, I said. Don't let it become so. What do I do? You go home after the vote, I said. You tell your wife you were brave, and you let Sparrow publish screenshots of the code that would have made you a coward. He laughed once, then didn't. I hate your job, he said. I hate it more, I said. At 21:55, instead of a photo, 3 push alerts hit the hotel's board. Security incident. wellness floor. Lena's newsroom dropped an explainer with diagrams that treated council phones like stoves in a rental. Sparrow tweeted a redacted snippet of the captive portal's code with the Crown logo carefully in frame. Lark sent me a single photo. Rains looking at his own reflection in a dark window, bored finally. The vote did not go Rains's way. It didn't go ours entirely either, but we got escrow that grows with violations and a clause that forbids pavilions from pretending to be clinics. Pierce spoke like a man who had seen the part of himself he wasn't going to be and didn't like the taste. The chair looked at his notes and decided to be tired tomorrow. At 0012, we were back in our apartment. Lena closed the door with her foot and stripped her t-shirt like it had said something unkind. She climbed onto me on the kitchen island with the confidence of a person who knows she just won in public and wants to claim the private prize. "You were a good hinge," she said into my neck. "You were the door," I said. "Say it," she whispered. "Honeysuckle," I said, and this time the word felt like a key I didn't mind carrying. We moved like we had earned the slowness. We weren't pretty, we were precise. She pressed me into the cool of the counter. I found the place below her ear that edits the day. The city outside tried to do its lights. We ignored it. It wasn't porn. It was proof that we still choose us when the rooms try to choose us instead. After I opened the album, the photo was still there because truth has to coexist with receipts. I renamed it, Attempted. I moved it to a folder called Lessons. I turned off Shared for 6 hours because I felt like building a small wall. Lark texted at 0103, "You're welcome." I typed back, "Next time don't test us with our own house." 3 dots. Then, "I needed to know you still talk before you touch." I set the phone face down and put Lena's hand where she keeps me honest. "We'll never get to be clean," she said into my shoulder. "We can be clear," I said. In the morning, the Grail announced it was pausing all network amenities pending a third-party review, which is hotel for we got caught, and the consultant needs a week. Rains posted a photo of himself at a playground, because of course he did. Sparrow published a follow-up with an interview with a concierge who had been told to stop saying "welcome back" and start saying "welcome." Lena's newsroom ran a graphic called "How to Make Your Phone Less Naive." We taped the tiny crown led to the inside of our cupboard where the spare keys live, not as a trophy, as a reminder that if a room offers you instant comfort, it's probably charging admission elsewhere. We still hate our password. We still keep it. It keeps pulling us back from the version of ourselves other people need us to be. That night I watched the river pretend to be a stable thing. Lena put her ear to my hinge. "Do you trust Lark?" she asked. "I trust that she trusts herself," I said. "Do you miss her?" she asked. "I miss the decade where I thought being clever made me safe," I said. "I don't miss the rooms." She nodded, the way you do when a map finally unfolds without tearing. "Good," she said, "because the rooms are going to get smarter." "We will too," I said. "We already are," she said, and kissed me like a contract I couldn't wait to sign.